welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm here to talk about something taboo, which is my favorite thing to do. I love talking about topics of conversation that make people uncomfortable and or curious because I don't get why we can't talk about some things. I feel like we learn so much from each other when we talk about things, especially when it comes to like money and income and how making money online works and what that looks like for me. And so I wanted to just do a video that's like completely openly, honestly, truthful about what it really looks like to make money on YouTube. So I went ahead and asked on my Instagram what you want me to address in this video. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it is right here. And I ask for your input all the time over there. So if you want to input in future videos, I highly suggest following me and so that you can input on that. Also, before we get into this video, I am wearing something very special to me. It's from my loungewear company called Jancy the Label. I don't know when this video is coming out. We might be in pre-sale for this item. We might have closed pre-sale for this item. We might be nearing that. Nevertheless, if you want to follow along and see what's happening with Jancy the Label, the Instagram for that is down below as well. So recently I have quit my other jobs and now full-time I do YouTube, even though I do have a pretty small channel to be able to do that. And I also do social media management for a few companies, but YouTube is still my primary income source and how I make probably 70% of my money. So let me go to Instagram and see what you guys want me to talk about. Let's start off with something simple. A lot of people wanted to know how long did it take me to start earning money and when do you start earning money? When can you become monetized? YouTube changes the requirements to become a partner, which means you can then monetize your video pretty frequently. But now, if I'm correct, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within the previous year. 4,000 watch hours sounds like a lot, but it's not as hard to get as you might think. Let me go to my YouTube studio. Let me see, like for example, just in the last 28 days, I have 2.5 million watch minutes. So let's see, 2.5 divided by 60. So just in the last 28 days for my channel, which is not very big, I have almost 42,000 watch hours, and you only need 4,000 watch hours in a year. So it's not as hard to get as it might seem. You really just need one video to do well, or you need to just be putting out enough content frequently to where all of those little watch minutes accumulate throughout the past year and you hit that point. I don't think they can take that away from you if, say, the following year you didn't have the same number of watch hours, but you pretty much only go up in YouTube, at least from the people I know in this world, so that's not really something that you have to worry about. For me, I tried to post once a week, but I would miss some weeks, so I would say I would post 3 to 4 times a month, and it took me about a year and a half to hit that point, but I wasn't trying very hard. After I realized, oh, I'm monetized now, I can actually make money off of this, I started posting way more frequently and my growth skyrocketed, and I went from making like $100 a month to like $700 a month to like a couple $1,000s a month. So it went up from there on out. Someone said, is there a period in the beginning where you're spending money to make money? That's really up to you. If you want to buy equipment, like if you want to buy a nice camera, go for it. If you want to buy a nice software editing program, go for it. Lights, tripod, you can do all of that. Me, I didn't really start spending money until I started making money. So I just asked for one not that great vlog camera for Christmas. I think it was like a $500 camera, and I filmed all my videos on that, no mic. I didn't even get a good camera until this Christmas, so 3 months ago. So that was the only like piece of equipment I had purchased. I edited it on a free editing software. Everything else I did was for free. Now I have better equipment. I have purchased Final Cut Pro, which is like $300. I got a nicer computer, but I didn't do that until I was making okay-ish money. So you don't have to, but you could if you want to. If you want to start off with making very high quality content, you could put money down before you start making money, and who knows, you might grow quicker because people might say, wow, she makes really good videos, but you don't have to. A lot of people wanted to know how frequently you get paid. So let me just talk about the different revenue streams from YouTube. So I would say there's 2 primary revenue streams, and then there's kind of a few secondary revenue streams, but primary will be AdSense. So how that works is whenever there is an ad before, during, or after your video, the advertising companies will pay YouTube to place it in your video, and then YouTube will split that advertising fee with you. Now there's so many different factors that go into this. I believe that the split is 55%, 45%. So I think that we as creators keep the slight majority of what advertisers pay to put their ads in our video, but we're still basically only getting half of what that is. Now, a lot of different factors play into how much advertisers pay to put an ad in your video. For example, there's the length of the ad, whether or not the viewer watched the full ad, whether or not the viewer is the demographic for their target demographic of their company. So like say there's a tampon company, they're gonna pay way more for a 15 to 40-year-old woman watching that ad than they will pay for a child or for an elderly person or for a man. On the reverse, if there is a company that the majority of their sales are in the US, then they're gonna pay a lot more for a person viewing the ad in the US than they would for a person viewing the ad internationally. So there's so many different demographics that go into how much they'll pay you. Also, how much of the ad is watched, if the person is interested enough in the ad to actually click on it and then go explore their site. So many different factors play into that. So that's the first income stream. And that is kind of through Google, I guess, is your boss. So Google owns YouTube, so Google AdSense pays you, and they only pay you once a month. It normally comes through on like the 22nd, 23rd, depending on what day of the week that falls on. So it's not weekly or bi-weekly, it is literally once a month. The second main income stream is going to be sponsors. So there's quite a few different sponsorships, and I know a lot of people wanted to ask what I charge for sponsorships, so I'm gonna tell you. But there's so many different things that you negotiate and then come to agreement on a rate based off of what is asked of you. But I will tell you my general rates and how that can fluctuate. So there is what they call an integration, which means anywhere between 60 seconds to 3 minutes, you're going to somehow integrate this product into your video. For me, for my small channel, my average rate for that is about $3.50. Sometimes I get paid more, sometimes I get paid less. If it's a brand I really love and I reach out to them, I will offer them a lower rate. If they reach out to me and want me to like try them out for a few months, that's a few months of commitment. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't also endorse anything that I haven't tried for quite a while. So I say, send me over your product. I'm gonna try this for 3-4 months. That's quite a commitment of experimenting. Then I'll get back to you about an integration if I like it, and then my rate's gonna be like $350, $400. So lots of different things go into that. Also, if they want a longer integration, just the length of time, all of that determines the amount of payment. Also, how quick the turnaround is for the video. Then there's something called a dedicated video. A dedicated video is a video that you make just about that product. So I had one come out today about my organic self-tanning skincare routine, and that was a dedicated sponsorship. So I made a video about this brand that I had tried out for like 6-8 months and loved. And so after trying it out for so long, I said, okay, I love you enough to make a dedicated video about you. Here's my rate. My rate for that, I believe, is a little bit low right now. I'm at the point where I need to up my rates a bit, but my rate for a dedicated video is about $8.50. Me, just ethically too, for my channel, I never do dedicated videos as one of my expected uploads. So I upload Monday, Thursday, and vlogs on Saturday. But if I do a dedicated video, I make it a Friday bonus video, and then I also do non-sponsored Friday bonus videos if I just want to put out more content. So that's how much I make off that income stream. So we have AdSense, we have sponsorships, and then there's some smaller income streams like affiliate links. For example, one of my favorite affiliate links is Missouri. I always wear their jewelry. This is Missouri. I love them. So our agreement is they just send me stuff all the time, which is great because you get free things that you love. But whenever I tell someone about the jewelry I'm wearing, I have an affiliate link, and what we do is kind of almost split a discount. So instead of giving the viewer a 20% discount, I will say, hey, here's my link if you want to use a 10% discount, and then Missouri also pays me a 10% commission. So they're only making 80% of their sales, but it's like a win-win for the creator and for the viewer because the viewer is getting a discount and the creator is getting commission. You can also do that from like Amazon. Amazon has a really good affiliate program. I don't do a ton of affiliate programs. I have to like really, really love them and for it to just come up naturally. Like for example, I'm always wearing jewelry, so that's very easy. Someone asks me about it, it's in the description below, and I don't really have to work at that. It's just kind of organic, which is nice. And then other income streams would be merch. I did see quite a few people ask me if merch was worth it, and I didn't really push it very hard. The only times I pushed my, I guess you would call it merch, I don't really like the word merch. It seems like kind of conceited, but I made a couple t-shirts with like positive sayings on them, and the only time I'd really push them is when I was doing a giveaway. But I think I sold a couple hundred, so I think I profited a couple thousand, which is good, especially for me not like trying that hard as far as like advertising goes. I put a lot of time into like creating them and designing them and finding a merchandising company that I actually liked, so I would say that was worth my time. Now obviously I am kind of shifting away from that as I'm creating an actual brand instead of just merch. I want to create a brand that people would want to purchase from if they don't even know who I am, which is why I'm working on Jancy the Label, to make luxury loungewear that is not necessarily associated with me but is from me, if that makes sense. This is an interesting question because it kind of addresses the psychological aspect of this job. It says, do you think it's more stressful than a regular hourly or salary job? I think it's more stressful in the sense that you don't necessarily know what your income's gonna look like. Obviously being freelance is kind of hard, but then there's perks to it too, because some months you might make way more money than you were expecting. But as far as like the in and outs of it go, I think if you're a creative person and if you're a diligent person and a hardworking person, for me it's way better than a normal job because I don't really like being told what to do. I like to be in control of my own schedule. But that being said, I always have a ton of ideas for videos, and I'm always very, very diligent about filming 3 to 4 videos a week, no matter what. So I would say if you're creative and diligent, it's easier than a normal job because you can be in control of your own schedule. But if you kind of need a little bit of motivation or hand-holding in terms of what you need to do and what you need to get done, it's kind of nice to have like set expectations on a normal job. So it depends on your personality. I love it. I don't think I could have a normal job and thrive. Someone asked, what do you think is the long-term sustainability? I don't know, to be honest. And it is kind of scary because YouTube could just delete itself one day, and then what? So that's why I've noticed a lot of people in the content creating space, including myself now with Jancy the Label, they're trying to kind of diversify their portfolio in a way, whether that be creating brands of different sorts or even just branching out to different platforms, social media platforms. A lot of YouTubers making IGTV videos now, like a ton of different things. I would say as long as you use your influence and don't put all of your eggs in one basket, but think about how you could create so many different income streams that if one were to just disappear, you're not stranded, then it's fine and it's sustainable, but you just have to be intentional with it. Okay, a lot of people want to know how taxes work. So this is, I forget if it's a 1099 or a whatever. It's basically like you're self-employed. So everything that you get from Google AdSense and from brands is essentially untaxed. So what I do is I have a separate savings account. I have a ton of different savings and checking accounts for different things, but I have one that I call just taxes. And as soon as I get that automatic payment in my bank account, I route 30% to that saving account. Now at the end of the year with deductions and stuff, we're gonna have money left over because we're not gonna pay all 30% of taxes, but it's always better to overestimate than underestimate. I do have an accountant that is so great and so helpful, but I have to organize everything myself. So I have like a QuickBooks account and I go through and classify anything that could be a business expense as a business expense. Then I have to reference it with a receipt. So I send the receipt into the app, and if it's for a specific video, I'll write which video it is. So if I ever get audited, I can go back and prove and be like, see, I bought this outfit for this video when I was doing this lookbook. The thing though with that is this could get kind of difficult with taxes in this world, is business expenses could also be personal expenses. I've given this example before, but for example, if I do a video where I'm showing a recipe for how to cook a certain meal, yes, those groceries are for a video, but then I also ate that meal. So a lot of things would be like 50% business, 50% personal. Same with our rent. This is technically my home office. I work here, so does Brook. So our rent is like 40% office, 60% personal. So 40% of our rent every month could be counted as a business expense. So if you're not familiar with taxes, everything that is a business expense, you get 30% back on. So like say if $1,000 a month of this place would be, that actually is about 40% of our rent. So we could call $1,000 a month of rent a business expense for our office space, and we would get back $300 a month in our pocket at the end of the year after taxes. That is a very brief explanation of kind of how taxes work for this. Someone wants to know the time contribution I put into this a week. Ooh, I would say, I mean, I treat it like a full-time job. I would say 40 hours a week is a pretty accurate guess, not including the time I'm vlogging. Maybe more like 50 if you include that as well, give or take. it fluctuates a lot, and then the weeks that I have dedicated sponsor videos is obviously a whole additional video, so it's like a whole nother day of filming and editing for me, but it's quite worth it because I also get paid. So yeah, I would say slow weeks 30 hours, busy weeks up to like 55 hours a week, but it fluctuates quite a bit. But I hold myself very accountable to putting out content. And a lot of people said, do you feel pressure to put out content? I don't feel external pressure. I feel like my viewers are very kind, nice people that would understand if I had to take a break for personal reasons. But I put a lot of pressure and expectations on myself because I'm not giving myself failure as an option, especially now that I've quit my other jobs. So I put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't think it's an unhealthy amount of pressure, but I do. A lot of people want to know how much of an ad you have to watch to get paid, and YouTube won't tell us the exact details of this, but from what creators can kind of gather. So it seems like you get paid like a very small amount if someone watches the beginning of an ad and then skips it, but you get paid a significant more amount if someone watches at least 30 seconds of an ad. After that point, you do get paid more the more that someone watches of an ad. Like say if it's like a 3-minute ad, you'll get paid more if someone watches 3 minutes than just 30 seconds. But I think that like, here's the amount of payment for skip. Let's put it down here. Here's the amount of payment for 30 seconds, and then maybe here's the amount of payment for like 3 minutes. So there's a much bigger difference in payment between a skip ad and 30 seconds than there is 30 seconds and whole thing. So I have a lot of really, really sweet subscribers that want to know how they can help me continue to do this full time. And I would say watching ads is like, that helps me the most in terms of income. But if you don't have those 3 minutes to spare, 30 seconds is definitely better than nothing. If you do, every little bit helps, and I appreciate you so much. But that's kind of how that works, at least as far as what we can gather from the limited information that Google actually releases about that. Also, people wanted to know like how CPM fluctuates. That's essentially how much you get paid per view of an ad. If we want to do the whole explain that like I'm 5. I have a weirdly high CPM. I think that the average CPM is about $7. Let me check my current one. My CPM is $16. So my CPM is over double the average amount of CPM, which is why I make enough money to do this as my majority income with a smaller channel. And the ways that you could have a higher CPM is just putting out family-friendly content. There's no one that couldn't watch my content. I never am vulgar or inappropriate or edgy, so that helps raise CPM. Also, my viewership, most of it is located in US, and advertisers pay higher for US viewers than any other country. There's so many different demographics, but I would say the reasons why I have really high CPM is mostly just being family friendly, putting out frequent content, and having a lot of US viewers. The second highest is Australia, very interestingly. I thought it would be Canada because we're the same continent, but no, Australia is second highest to US. Interesting. And Sweden still beats Canada. Wow, okay, interesting. And the last thing that I'll kind of address, going through all the questions, there's a lot of similar ones, which is good, but people kind of wanted to know like how much it fluctuates. I would say one thing that I didn't realize is how much quarter 1 sucks. So after Christmas, so the second half of December, all of January, and the first half of February are bad. Like I haven't given real numbers for AdSense. I make, I would say, around $4,000 a month on AdSense alone before taxes. So mind you, I really only keep about half of that after taxes, tithe, retirement, all that. I would say that's about my average. For January, my AdSense went down almost like $2,000 for that month. So I didn't realize that like I was being basically paid half for a couple months of what I was used to being paid. On the reverse though, like November skyrockets. Like after Black Friday before Christmas, it skyrockets. So it is kind of like cyclical annually. I would say like as the year goes on, it goes up, 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 and then as the year comes to an end, it just plummets and then goes up, 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 up. So right now it's March. I'm finally back up in like the 4s, and it feels so much better to be there. For a while, it shows you all your statistics on the YouTube Studio. Everything was red, all the arrows were pointing downward, and every time I would open my YouTube Studio, I would get stressed and I'd be like, things are still going down. But now things are in the green, they're climbing back up. I'm feeling good about it. So as far as that goes, at least now I kind of can know what's expected as far as the fluctuations go. Sponsorships, I don't see a pattern. Some months I will have so many sponsorships and I'm like, I hope I don't annoy my viewers because like I love all these brands and I want to work with them and it's money, but that's like 4 sponsored videos in a row. And then other months I'll be like, I haven't done anything sponsored in like weeks. So that I don't really see a pattern to. Even when ads were low in January, I have heard that January is normally a slow month for sponsorships, but I had a lot of sponsorships and I heard other YouTubers talking about how they had a lot of sponsorships for January too. Like even Aspen and Parker, they were like, sorry that every vlog has been sponsored. It's weird for January. So that to say, there's a little bit of a trend, but not enough of a trend, and things do fluctuate, and some months I'll literally make half of what I make other months, but I at least have an average in mind that I usually can hit and try to hit, which is nice. I think I've addressed every money question in one way or another that I had gotten in my DM. I hope you find this interesting. I love hearing about people's income. I find it so interesting and I can learn so much from other income streams to know, is this something that I could maybe try to do on the side? Is this tangible? Is this possible? Is this lucrative? Is this worth my time, my energy, my money, my effort? So I hope that that at least brings you some value, or was just interesting, because it's kind of fun to talk about things you're not supposed to talk about, like money. What else? What are other taboo subjects that you want me to talk about? Not politics, because I avoid politics because I'm just ignorant. I need to learn so much about politics, but anything else. Give me ideas. I'll maybe make a video on it. I love you so much. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye!